Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. We are back in the forest and once again I will take you for a walk. So let's go. I want to talk today about ending this month. We are slowly ending the month of March and we are beginning a new chapter. I look on months as like the chapters in the book. And I hope you're watching this before ending the month of March. Why? Because, well, firstly, I hope you're forgiving. I hope you're letting go of the past. I hope you're doing the things that your future self will be thankful for. Because we can't reverse back the time, right? But we can reflect on our past and we can ask ourselves what we haven't yet implemented that could change our perception in this present moment so we could start doing some new things, some fresh new things that could uplift our life's experiences, right? And month of March was a month of detoxification, mental, physical, emotional, right? You've noticed many breakthroughs happened in your life. You've noticed that you've found your inner strength. You found a great degree of courage. You've recognized that you're more courageous than you thought before. You've been exposed to some fearful thoughts and hopefully eventually you've overcame them. So in front of us is a month of April, and the month of April is more than anything a month of implementation. So when it comes to implementation, it comes to growth, and when it comes to growth, it comes to vulnerability. We only grow when we're vulnerable, the most, like nature does. If you would watch a time lapse of a seed that is slowly transforming itself into a plant, into its potential, you will notice that a seed slowly opens up, right? It opens up, and that's the vulnerability of a seed. Then it gives life to its potential, so that part of it starts slowly growing, slowly evolving. And eventually it grows into its greatest form. But it only happens because it was vulnerable, right? That's why we say vulnerability is the greatest power. For example, in a relationship, if you decide to be vulnerable, if you openly say what is bothering you, what's causing pain within you, not with anger, not with judgment, not with blaming anyone, but out of vulnerability because you don't like how that certain relationship is. You notice that that other person with whom you are in the relationship starts doing the same. Have you noticed that? Because I've learned that in my relationship, for example, with Maya. We've learned that every time when me or she is vulnerable, we both become vulnerable. And that's how we find solutions to certain problems. And then we implement them. And eventually we fail at that many times, until we gain wisdom from that certain problem. So you see, it's not just implementing something once and then everything changes. It's like failing over and over and over again until we find out what was the actual wisdom that makes us, wiser. And that's how we grow. So this is the demonstration of what it means when we are entering into the month of implementation. So, my friends, I hope you're forgiving, because there's so much to let go of, right? There's so much to leave behind. And at the beginning I said, I hope you're doing something your future self will be thankful for. And that is so, so important. So the thing is that time is not linear, right? It's multidimensional. Which means that when you think about a potential you would like to experience, a certain potential reality, that reality is already real somewhere in your mind. But then, because of the complexity of dimensions, we need to do so much about it to bring it here, right? To manifest it here. And the first aspect to it is our intellect. We need to expand our intellectual understanding of what we need to know in order that thing can exist, right? For example, if you want to increase finances in your life, you need to understand the principle of money. And the principle of money is not money itself, but value. So money is following value. It's always like that. Money is following value. If money is not following value, it's not sustainable. And what's not sustainable in nature, it will soon be erased because it can't exist. That's the complexity. But in order to understand that, we need to study the subject. And once we study the subject, we recognize, well, there was many degrees of lack of understanding of that subject, and that's why it was so hard for me to have it, to allow it to be a part of my life, right? Because sometimes people say like, I'm trying so hard, but nothing is changing in my life financially. Like, I'm working so hard on that thing, but I'm not getting any richer. So what's the lesson there? The lesson is that if you're doing same thing over and over again, you will get the same results, like Albert Einstein said. You can't solve a problem with the same level of thinking that created it. So poor mentality creates poor results. And when we have financial problems, they start in our financial mindset, right? Usually the core of the problem is that we think we don't deserve it. We think we are unworthy of it. And because of that deep subconscious belief of unworthiness, we don't even search for wiser, greater solutions. Once we find them, we don't even look deeper into them. We say, yeah, well, it's a scam. It doesn't work. Whatever. Right? But if we study something for a long time, eventually we find a way. And that's where we notice the meaning of our failures, of why we are so stuck in certain situations. We are only as stuck as our willpower, right? And ability to trust and surrendering. We are only as stuck as our willpower and ability to trust and surrendering. So willpower means that you're willing to do something, to act, to behave, to learn, to grow. You're willing to do that. But in order to fully accomplish our willpower, we need to recognize what is not allowing us to use it. Procrastination, laziness, lack of energy, being tired all the time. Those are problems that require solutions, right? That's why I said the month of implementation is a month of implementing solutions to our problems. Implementing solutions, because you know so much, but how much you're implementing, right? How much you are applying what you've learned. Because every time you apply something new, you also learn, you experience something new. And that is a valuable lesson, right? new experiences create new results, and new results create new experiences. You see, endless cycle of change. And they say change is the only constant. But if we're feeling stuck, we don't experience change. So we may say, well, it's not true because I don't experience any changes. But we are changing for better or for worse, and the choice is always ours. When we are changing for the worse, we usually say that nothing is changing. But when we are changing for the better, we say everything is changing. So the question is, what's your answer? What's changing? Nothing or everything? And that's where you will find out that the power is always yours, right? In front of you is a new chapter, and make sure you will do something that your future self will be thankful for. Right? You're powerful beyond measures, and you know that. So, my friends, when nothing is changing, remember that you've stopped growing in certain area. So, from my experiences, what I've learned is that when I start to feel stuck, it's because at some point in my life I stopped caring of certain things, certain orders. Like, for example, if we look on energy from masculine and feminine energy, masculine energy is order. It's all about order, but feminine energy is chaos. We need chaos so we create a better order, right? So I've noticed that I'm moving through rhythms in life. Like there are rhythms where I'm creating great structures, great habits, great routines, and so on. But then there's a phase in my life where I feel like it is making me robotic. It is not fully spontaneous, and it starts robbing me from creativity, which comes the feminine aspect, the destruction of patterns, so we can find better ones, right? So we can create a better order, and that building and destructing is constantly happening. The building of patterns and habits and orders and so on, and destructing them and shifting them. It's the microcosmos, right, of the macrocosmos. So we see it on the world as well, but we need to ask ourselves, well, am I balancing two different aspects? If I'm constantly in chaos with myself, it's because I don't decide to make any order in my life. Is my place in order? Are my habits in order? Is my mindset in order? Am I taking care of my responsibilities? Am I taking or working on my passion projects and so on? And if we're too strict on that, we may start to feel the lack of meaning. Like, why am I doing all of that? So you need some disruption. You need some feminine energy to it. You need to disrupt all these patterns and design some new ones, right? But you don't know what are the new ones, so you need to discover them, and that is the unknown, right? Feminine is all about leap of faith, having leap of faith, trust the process, and go for an adventure so we can learn what may work better than your past, right? So think about it for this month that's in front of us, my friends, and I will leave you here. So have a beautiful day, and I'm sending you all lots of love, blessings, and power. Till next time, one love.